Well, The Brutalist really cleaned up the Golden Globes last night.
Oh, absolutely. Adrian Brody snagged Best Actor
Yeah.
and Brady Corbett for Best Director. The Brutalist
Right, right.
won for Best Drama, too.
Didn't they have like 7 nominations in total?
7 nominations, yeah, and 3 wins. It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive, especially when you think about Emilia Perez going in with 10.
10. Wow.
That was the most of any film.
Yeah, yeah.
But Emilia Perez won Best Musical or Comedy and Best Original Song.
Right.
Zoe Saldana won Best Actress for Emilia Perez, too. But yeah, The Brutalist had a really strong showing.
Speaking of Zoe Saldana,
Yeah.
her acceptance speech, oh my gosh.
Oh, I know.
I don't think there was a dry eye in the house.
It was powerful.
It really got me thinking about how much these awards must mean
Oh, yeah.
to the winners.
It's more than just a trophy. A
Right.
Golden Globe can really change the trajectory of somebody's entire career.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like instant validation
Right.
from like the whole international film community.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, the Golden Globes are presented by the Golden Globe Foundation, formerly known as the HFPA,
Okay.
the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. It's international journalists, so they're covering the American entertainment industry. It's a very unique perspective.
Right.
A win can boost recognition, open doors to new projects, and even lead to other awards down the line.
Yeah, it makes you think, like, do studios consider potential Golden Globe wins
Oh, yeah.
when they're planning release schedules and campaigns and stuff?
Oh, for sure.
You know, just trying to, like, strategically time things
Mhm.
to build buzz.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, and then you think about, like, the financial impact, too.
Oh, huge.
A Golden Globe win could mean, like, increased box office numbers for films, higher viewership for TV shows.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's interesting how something as simple as an award can have such a huge ripple effect across the whole industry.
It really is, yeah.
But it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
There's a certain, like, prestige that comes with a Golden Globe.
It's validation of years of hard work and dedication,
Right.
creative vision. Remember Demi Moore's speech?
Yeah.
She even said, like, she used to be called a popcorn actress,
Right.
which was a term used to dismiss actors who mostly appear in films that are commercially successful but not really critically acclaimed.
True.
Winning this award for the substance was
Yeah.
clearly a really powerful moment for
Yeah.
her.
I can imagine, like, how validating that must feel.
Oh, for sure.
It's like a sign that you've really made it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that your peers respect you, they recognize your talent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the individual, right?
Yeah.
The whole production, the win shines a light on
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh, right.
The writers, the directors, the crew, everyone who worked on that project.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, recognizing those who came before,
Yeah.
I was so touched by Fernanda Torres' speech.
Oh, beautiful.
She dedicated her win for the Brazilian film, I'm Still Here,
I know.
to her mother, Fernanda Montenegro.
Yes. Her mother was the first Brazilian actress to be nominated for a Golden Globe.
That's right, back in 1998 for Central Station.
Exactly.
It's almost like a passing of the torch moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It highlights how the Golden Globes
Yeah.
create a legacy within the industry. We're all part of a larger story of artists and storytellers.
It really does. And it shows that these awards have, like, real emotional weight for the winners.
They do.
You know, it's not just about the accolades.
Yeah.
It's about personal journeys, overcoming challenges,
Right.
honoring those who paved the way.
Speaking of challenges, though, I think we should talk a little bit about the Golden Globe Foundation itself.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that.
Because, you know, while the Golden Globes have this really long and rich history, the organization behind them has faced a lot of criticism over the years.
Right. You're talking about all the controversy around the HFPA, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There have been concerns about the lack of diversity among the members and allegations of, you know, questionable ethical practices.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Mm-hmm.
There was even like a boycott of the Golden Globes a few years back, right?
There was, yeah.
Still there.
And that led to the restructuring of the HFPA
Yeah.
and the formation of the Golden Globe Foundation as we know it today.
Right.
That boycott was a really turning point for them.
Yeah.
It forced them to confront these criticisms
Yeah.
and really make some changes.
What kind of changes did they actually make?
Well, for one, they expanded their membership quite a bit,
Okay.
and they really made a push for diversity.
Okay.
They also put in stricter ethical guidelines and made their voting process more transparent.
So they took some real steps to address those concerns?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
But in the middle of all of that restructuring, another big thing happened.
What's that?
Dick Clark Productions.
Okay.
The company that's been producing the telecast for the Golden Globe since '93,
Hmm.
they acquired all the Golden Globe assets and intellectual property.
So, like, a production company owns the Golden Globes now.
It's kind of crazy, right? It led to the creation of the Golden Globe Foundation as a separate thing.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty unprecedented to have a production company have this much influence over a major awards show.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll impact the Golden Globes moving forward?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Will we see, like, changes in how the awards are presented?
Maybe.
Or even, like, the types of films and shows that get nominated?
It's hard to tell at this point,
Yeah.
but it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all these organizational changes, ownership changes, but at the end of the day, the Golden Globes are about celebrating film and television.
Oh, absolutely. And the history of the Golden Globes is tied to how both of those things have evolved.
Right.
Did you know that they actually started all the way back in 1943
Wow. I had no idea they went back that far.
during World War II?
What was even happening in Hollywood back then?
Yeah. Well, the studios were really involved in the war effort,
Right.
producing, propaganda films, newsreels to support the troops.
Right.
But in the middle of all that, this group of international journalists,
Mhm.
the Hollywood Foreign Correspondents Association, they wanted to create a platform
All right.
to, recognize filmmaking excellence.
So that's how the HFPA got started.
Exactly. Their first ceremony was at the 20th Century Fox Studios, but it was a lot more low-key than what we see today.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No red carpet or designer gowns.
Right.
Whoa.
So how did they go from those humble beginnings to this, like, globally recognized event?
It was gradual. There were successes and challenges along the way.
Mm.
In the 50s, the HFCA did some restructuring,
Okay.
and that's when it became the Hollywood Foreign Press Association,
Right.
the name it had until recently.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the awards themselves? Did they always have awards for both film and television?
No, at first it was just film awards. It wasn't until '56 that they had their first television award.
Right.
And then in '62, they added separate categories for TV series, actors, and actresses.
Makes sense. TV was really starting to boom in the 60s.
It was.
Yeah.
And the Golden Globes were really on top of recognizing its power as a storytelling medium.
Okay, so they went from this small group of journalists to this huge event honoring both film and TV.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned challenges. What were some of those?
Even though they were becoming more influential,
Yeah.
they got a lot of criticism because their voting membership was so small.
Okay.
And there were questions about how transparent they were being.
Mhm.
Plus, there were concerns about diversity
Right.
among their members.
Hmm. Yeah, that's been a big issue for Hollywood in general.
Huge. Yeah.
It's interesting how award shows can reflect these bigger societal issues.
But for sure, they offer a window into how the industry works
Right.
and the struggles it's having, trying to adapt.
Okay, so we talked about how the Golden Globes started and how they've changed. We can't talk about the Golden Globes without mentioning some of the most memorable moments, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's so many iconic moments
Yes.
that are basically Hollywood legend. I don't even know where to begin. There's so many.
Well, why don't we start with a moment that shows how a Golden Globe win can validate an artist,
Okay.
their resilience, and their talent.
Okay.
Remember when Demi Moore won Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy for The Substance?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Her speech was so moving.
I know.
She talked about how when she was starting out, people called her a popcorn actress,
I know.
basically saying she was popular but not taken seriously.
Right.
It was clear that award meant a lot to her.
It did. It was like everyone recognized her talent and her work.
Mhm.
And her speech resonated with a lot of people because,
Yeah.
we all want to be recognized for what we can do.
Right.
Even when people criticize or doubt us.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that behind all the glitz and glamour,
Mm-hmm.
these awards can really affect the winners.
They can. Yeah.
Their lives and careers.
Speaking of powerful speeches, I also think of Zoe Saldana
Yes.
when she won Best Actress for Amelia Perez.
Oh my gosh, so emotional.
I know, right?
You could feel how important that moment was.
Right. Years of hard work all culminating in that moment.
Exactly.
It was beautiful, a reminder that these awards aren't just about winning.
Right.
They're about recognizing all the work that goes into making art.
And sometimes that work involves family, like with Fernanda Torres dedicating her win to her mom.
I know, Fernanda Montenegro.
It was a beautiful moment.
It was.
A daughter recognizing her mother's influence.
Yeah, her mom is a pioneer.
It shows that the Golden Globes can be about more than just the individual.
Hmm.
You can be about celebrating artistic expression across generations. Okay, so we've got tears of joy, speeches about overcoming challenges,
Hmm.
tributes to families. What about some humor?
Oh, yeah.
The Golden Globes have a lot of lighthearted moments.
Definitely. They do a good job of balancing the serious with the fun. And humor is a big part of that. Remember when Nikki Glaser hosted?
Nikki Glaser, the comedian who roasted Tom Brady?
That's her.
Okay.
She brought her edgy comedy to the Golden Globes stage.
Right.
Everyone was talking about her bit about Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, yeah?
She even got Adam Sandler to do an impression of his voice.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
It was one of those, like, you had to be there moments.
Right.
Spontaneous, unexpected.
There's moments like that that make these award shows so fun.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never.
Who's going to say what?
Yeah.
Which moments will become like instant classics
It's like a live performance with huge stakes.
and huge entertainment value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, not every memorable moment has been positive.
Right.
The Golden Globes have had their share of controversy, too.
Right, like we talked about with the boycott and the concerns about
Yeah.
diversity and how they do things.
Exactly.
Was there a specific incident that brought those issues to the forefront?
Well, there was one that caused a big stir.
What happened?
The Tourist got nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
The Tourist.
Mm-hmm.
The movie that got terrible reviews.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it wasn't even a musical or a comedy.
Right. It was a thriller with Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie.
So how did it get nominated in that category?
Well, that's where it gets messy.
Okay.
The rumor was that Sony, the studio behind the film, had been lobbying the HFTA members, giving them expensive gifts, trips,
So they were trying to buy their votes.
Pretty much, yeah. It was a case of alleged bribery to influence the nominations.
That's serious.
It is. And that incident and others where people questioned the HFPA's nomination process really fueled the calls for change.
Right.
That led to the boycott and all the restructuring we talked about.
It's crazy how even in a world of like glitz and glamour,
I know.
there are ethical issues that have to be addressed.
Oh, for sure. The Golden Globes, like any powerful institution, have had to deal with these issues.
Right.
Make changes, to be fair.
Okay, so we talked about the history of the Golden Globes, how they've evolved, the moments everyone remembers,
The good and the bad, yeah.
and the challenges along the way.
The history, the drama, the funny moments,
Yeah.
the tears, it all makes the Golden Globes what they are today.
But as we look ahead, what does the future hold for the Golden Globes?
That is the question.
Especially with how quickly the entertainment landscape is changing.
Yeah.
We talked about the Golden Globes' history and the tough times they've faced, but things are changing so fast. Streaming services, globalization, everyone's focusing more on diversity. So where do the Golden Globes fit into all of this?
Yeah. They're at a real crossroads, and the decisions they make over the next few years will determine if they stay relevant.
Let's break it down, starting with streaming.
Okay.
They've completely changed how we watch movies and TV. How are the Golden Globes handling that?
They've changed their rules to include streaming content, which is huge. It used to be all about theatrical releases and network TV. Now you have Netflix, Amazon Prime. They're producing amazing content,
Right.
competing with the traditional studios.
Do you think we'll get to a point where the difference between film and television doesn't even matter?
It could happen. We're already seeing the Golden Globes create new categories just to keep up.
Okay, so streaming's a game changer.
Yeah.
What about globalization?
Absolutely. We're seeing more international co-productions,
Okay.
more diversity in casts and stories,
Right.
a wider range of voices. This is both good and bad for the Golden Globes.
Oh, so.
Well, they've always said they want to recognize international film and TV,
Yeah.
but people have said they're too focused on America.
Right, like that controversy with Minari a few years back.
Oh, yeah, the film about the Korean-American family nominated for Best Foreign Language Film.
Right, just because a lot of the dialogue was in Korean.
Exactly. That started a big debate.
About what makes a film American.
And if the Golden Globes needed to change how they think about inclusivity.
With globalization growing, are they going to stick with American productions or go for a more global perspective?
They have to figure out how to honor their past while adapting to a world where everything is connected.
That's a tough balancing act.
It is, and it's not just about where the films and shows come from. It's who makes them,
Right.
whose stories get told.
Which brings us to diversity and representation.
Exactly. The entertainment industry has to deal with its past.
Yeah.
People want to see more diversity on screen and behind the scenes.
Right, they want stories that reflect everyone's experiences.
Mm.
And the Golden Globes have been called out for not being diverse enough, leading to the boycott and the restructuring of the HFPA.
The new Golden Globe Foundation with a more diverse membership is a good step, but the real test is if that leads to more inclusive awards.
It's about who's voting and whose stories are celebrated.
Absolutely. The Golden Globes could really be leaders in diversity and inclusion.
Not just within their organization,
Yeah.
but for the whole industry.
Right?
So it sounds like streaming, globalization, and diversity are going to decide the future of the Golden Globes.
They will. How they handle these challenges will decide their future and their legacy.
Will they become a truly global celebration of great films and shows?
Or will they fade away?
It's exciting and kind of scary to think about.
It is, and their decisions will impact the whole industry.
What kind of message do they want to send to filmmakers, actors, audiences worldwide?
What are their values?
It's a lot of responsibility, but also a huge
To
opportunity.
change the future of entertainment, yeah.
The next few years will be telling.
Will they rise to the challenge or be swept away by the current?
We'll definitely have more to talk about in our future deep dives into the Golden Globes.
Oh, definitely.
But I think that's enough for our listeners to think about today.
We've explored the history, the scandals, the memorable moments, and the forces changing the Golden Globes.
It's up to everyone to decide what role they think the Golden Globes should play in the future of entertainment.
And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the Golden Globes.
We hope you enjoyed it.